All right, the Bulls. It was no surprise. Kind of knew how the top three picks would go. Looking at all the mock drafts, we end up with Caleb Wilson at the number 4 position, and Jalen Swain at the number 15 position. So, how you feeling about our draft picks and kind of our outlook for the season?
Um, I like it. I like it a lot. I like the picks. Of course, Caleb Wilson. He kind of, the draft kind of set itself. So I was good with that. Like you said, the mock drafts they kind of played out how the majority of the mock drafts said it would. And I don't think, I mean, whenever you get a top 5 pick, you're looking at a All Star, hopefully, a All NBA type player. And I think Caleb Wilson can develop into that. Um, I seen player comparisons like Kevin Garnett, but to me, he reminded me like a young Jermaine O'Neal.
Yep, I seen that too. Yeah, Jermaine O'Neal.
Yeah, and people kind of forget how athletic he was early on in Portland. So, I thought that was a safe pick because the draft kind of set itself. He kind of fell to us, and then I thought at 15 we kind of, we took a swing, a little bit more of a risk. So I wasn't upset because with number 4, we're not gonna play around. We ain't gonna take no risks. We're gonna take who we felt like the safest guy. We basically had an extra pick, so with that, I don't mind, taking somebody that's a little more of a risk, little bit more of a developmental project. Um, from everything I'm seeing, I had to do a lot of research on Jalen Swain, but from what I see, athlete, defender, kind of do it all. Only thing needs to improve is his jump shot, and we see several players come in the NBA as athletes that was able to develop jump shot. I think we'll be better and we'll be more exciting than we were last
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Bears approach with the Bulls. It's like I'm gonna just trust the process. I'm gonna trust the
year.
front office. They coming in with you know what he was able to develop in New Orleans, the players that he was able to develop and draft, um, like Nikhil Walker Alexander, um, some of those other guys. Like I'm gonna trust the process. So I feel like we know what we're doing, and I like Tiago Splitter, our coach, what he was able to do in Portland. So, you're
Mhm.
looking at a roster, you're looking at Caleb Wilson, you're looking at Noah Matas, Dalen Swain, whatever we do with Giddy, we got to figure out what we're gonna do at this guard position. We got, we guard heavy. So whoever gonna stay, whoever gonna go, just kind of, get that out the mix. And I'm gonna trust the front office. I think we did a good job. We're a young team. We developing, so we don't got no expectations. It's not like we
Yeah,
looking
I mean,
to
you're
compete for
not gonna,
nothing. It's gonna be a developmental process. So
yeah, you're not gonna go from worst to first in the NBA, and you ain't gonna fix a roster in one off season. So it's all about small gains, making improvement. Like I said, putting them building blocks in place.
all right, yeah. So I mean, with that, like you know, um, I know LeBaron Fightline was a pick that a lot of people wanted the Bulls to take. You had Cameron Carr that could have been there. Who do you feel like? What was the biggest surprise pick that you saw tonight in the draft?
Um, honestly, I'll probably say Morez Johnson. Uh, tough. You know what I'm saying? I like his game. I like him a lot. Local kid, but I didn't see him going that early. I thought he was more so be like a mid-team pick, but yeah, I'm happy for him. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully, it all work out. And like said, his college coach Dusty May was there. So I was surprised he went as early as he did, but I mean, what better situation to go with a guy that saw you every day in college? You know what I'm saying? So Cameron Carr, I thought he would have went a little earlier. Um, heard some things about just, you know what I'm saying, the whole draft process, why he dropped, but I thought he would have won quite earlier. So Those was two, you know what I'm saying, that stick out to me.
Yeah, with me, my biggest surprise was, I mean, I know all the mocks, kind of had it the same, but my biggest surprise was Keaton Wagler, being the first guard off of the board. Him going over Michael Brown, A Cuff, and Kingston Flemings. I'm like, you may look at that. Like I said, we'll never know how it goes, but you may look at that 5, 6, 7, 8 years from now and say, boom, that could have been, he was the first guard off. But I mean, I know you got Darius
Yeah,
and
I think it's all about team building with that and like who you gonna pair with DG that really work. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't think I mean you could have took a another guard, but I think far as the way Darius plays, size and all that, I think that kind of eliminated some guys with Darius being 6'1". I mean, you can't play a 6'2" and a 6'1" guard in the backcourt and really,
right.
I
I mean,
thought
but I think one thing that I mean, if you got, guys, that many guys at one position, I think one thing that San Antonio showed is like, just take the best available, because you've seen how Dylan Harper performed for them in the playoffs.
but then you saying that Dylan Harper wasn't happy
Yeah. I mean,
that couple
yeah,
of
but I'm saying,
years. It's like
it's the
I,
same thing. They all guards, so it's
yeah,
like,
but I mean, I think it's about building a roster. So I think that I do think he'll play a little better off of Darius, which you
kind
know
of
what
like an
I'm
off
saying.
guard.
His ability to shoot, he a bigger guard. You know what I'm saying? They games not gonna get in the way of each other. So I think just, you know what I'm saying, I think he was the right pick for the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? Now, is he the most talented guard at that pick? But maybe not. Who knows? But he got games in college where he hit 9 threes, you know what I'm saying? So he a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, catch and shoot. Like I said, a bigger guard. And I think, when they looking at building the team, he probably just was a better fit.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel like who you feel like did the most for their roster currently, through the draft?
I think obviously like the early picks. I mean, watch. I mean, I'm real interested to see Utah. You know what I'm saying? I think they got a lot of talent on that roster, and just seeing how they going to be able to put it all together. So, I think Memphis they roster a little bit more depleted, but I think Washington and Utah. I think both of them rosters, you know what I'm saying, was in a little better position, and you add top players like that, you know,
Right.
the expectations go up for them teams. Because I mean, if you look at Utah, shit, 1 through 5, they got first round picks all the way to probably 1 through 9, maybe. Just, making it work.
That's the thing about the NBA. They gonna give you a chance to be good. So it's
Yeah,
like, you know, with me, I saw Atlanta getting Kingston Flemings. You add him to a playoff roster, he's able to come
yeah,
in and, pick up from CJ, pick up from Nikhil Walker Alexander. And then I like what OKC did too. You bring Big Boy in from Michigan, and he's
yeah.
playing behind Chet, he's playing behind Hardenstein. You're already going to a championship type roster. So, he's able to come in and just, change shots, rim run, and, just kind of pick it up. So I really like
But
those two.
the
I like
only
Atlanta.
thing with
I
them
like
with them bringing
OKC.
in Mara, they might, you know what I'm saying, be more comfortable letting uh like Hardenstein go. Because I mean, they're in a
I mean, probably
situation.
in like another year. I mean, like elite.
Yeah, they're in a situation where they ain't gonna be able to pay everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. They already lost Wiggins. And then they
Yeah.
probably gonna already lose Dort. They're gonna lose Dort too, more than likely,
Mhm.
because Case and Wallace ready to take a bigger role.
Yeah.
But I just like that, kind of developmental position for him. He can come in and, give you 8 to 10 minutes, rim run, protect the rim, he pick up on the championship culture. Atlanta, like I say, I think they'll be able to take another step. And, Fleming's like, they really don't got a true point,
Nah, they don't got a true PG, so he'll help them, and then he also, defensive minded. So,
Right, coming from Houston.
yeah, it's kind of fit their culture better than like Trey Young did because see they kind of started to go in a different direction. So
Right.
I think he definitely helped.
Right, man. It's the big trade went down, the one that we've been expecting, been knowing that was gonna happen for the past, year. Giannis to the Heat. Um, Heat giving up. I mean, a lot of their core, young core. Uh, but they got their guy. So if you had to get that trade a letter grade, what would you say? How you feel about that trade overall?
Um, if I had to give a letter grade, I would probably say, man, B on both sides, the Heat and Milwaukee. I don't know if I like the fit in Miami because I mean I know they still got a lot more to do as far as adding, shooting and really building the roster around Giannis. But I mean right now you got two guys that play very similar with Giannis and Bam. You know what I'm saying? You gotta see who gonna spread the court out. Them two guys, you know what I'm saying? I can't say they're gonna be easy to defend, but I mean they gonna clog the lane on both of them. And like you say, the Heat had to give up a lot of their core. So, like I said, the trade still ain't complete because we got to see what they put around Giannis. I like what Milwaukee was able to get in return, even though, I mean, whenever you rebuild and giving up a superstar, you know you're not getting a superstar in return. So, like I said, I get to trade a B on both sides.
Yeah, I had it as a B for Milwaukee, as a C for Miami. I mean, you obviously you get a top 5 guy right now, but it's just like you know you look at the trades with like KD going to Phoenix. You look at what you got to give up to get the guy, and
Yeah,
it's like you really
you
don't
got
have
to
much
cut your
around him.
whole
And
roster.
with Norman Powell being an unrestricted free agent, they're not gonna be able to bring him back. So it's like you building around Wiggins, Giannis, and Bam. So um, I like what Milwaukee was able to do because you get Braden Burries in the draft. You had Ryan Rollins. Um, I mean, you get Khalil Ware, you get Hero, um, you get Yakovich, you get Jaquez. You got Kevin Porter. It's like you don't got like a main guy, but you got a lot of building blocks that
Yeah,
you
they was
can
able to get
you
my
can look
man
to
from
add somebody later
Tennessee.
in the future.
Yeah, they got my man from Tennessee too, in the draft. So
Yeah, Nate Mack. Yeah,
yeah, man. So really, I mean, you basically just, you know what I'm saying, you got a lot of potential and I mean you hope one or two of them guys can turn into an all-star and you got first round picks coming down the line. So like
right,
I said, I
right,
think they did well. Uh I mean, as far as winning, I don't know if too many teams at the top of the East or the top of the West are scared of Miami as they,
right,
constructed right now. So, like I said, we still got to wait and see. But giving up Giannis, I know that's not easy. But I thought Milwaukee did well, and as talented as Giannis is, like I said, I got to get him a B because you did get, what I'm saying, the white whale, and you got the guy. And I was just seeing what they're able to do around it.
right. And I'm looking, yeah, like you say, like the top of the East. I look at like Detroit, Boston, New York, Cleveland, Indiana be back in the mix. Atlanta getting better. Charlotte, they young, they'll be a year older. Orlando will be in the mix. I don't really see Miami being no higher than maybe like a 4 seed, 4 or 5, maybe in the
Yeah,
East. As far as Giannis too, like looking at the Heat, like he's in the win now mode. So it's like Giannis probably only got, a few more years left in his super prime. So, he's in the win now mode. So this year is almost gonna be like a throwaway year. So now they probably gonna be trying to look to see who they can add, and it's gonna be more than a year process. So, like I said, I think like I said, you get a top 5 guy, but you almost deplete your roster. So hopefully, I can see them landing in the top 4 or 5 position in the East. But outside of that, I would say that Milwaukee won the trade.
Yeah, but I don't think that Pat Riley is supposed to make the trade without having like something, you know what I'm saying, in mind, like something down the pipeline far as that they could build around Giannis and Bam. I don't think they would just take a trade and gut their whole roster without a plan, you know what I'm saying, to compete because like you said, I mean, Giannis is getting older, so I think they got something in mind, guys in mind that they think they can put around them to really fill out the roster.
Right. And one more crazy thing that I think about is like you see a trade like this, and it's like the Luca trade still don't really make a whole lot of sense. Like you see what you have to give up to get Giannis compared to what they gave up to get Luca, and it's like still
Yeah.
don't seem like a fair amount. But I mean, I guess we'll see how it go. And so obviously Giannis gets moved to Miami. We had Jalen Brown name come up in trade talks. It's gonna be a fallout from that. So what do you think is the next move or the best move for the Celtics to do with Jalen Brown moving forward?
Um, I think he's so talented and he's improving it. You can't just give him up for nothing because, you know, I know he got to be tired of having his name in trade rumors. Like they said, it's the second time they was putting his name out there for KD, putting his name out there for Giannis. So it's probably gonna be some hurt feelings, some tough conversations got to be had, but I don't think you give him up for nothing. But I think if the right deal do come, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what that right deal would be, but I don't think there's one player out there right now outside of Giannis you could trade him for that make you better. So I think it'd
Yeah,
have to be multiple players that they just think would make them you know what I'm saying, back top team in the East competing for a championship. And I don't know if that trade is out there. So I think ultimately the best move and the only move is gonna be to call him in and try to fix, you know what I'm saying, whatever
yeah,
uh situation they have between him and the front office and Tatum. Cause the way he been moving is like he damn near ready to, you know what I'm saying, move on. But you
right.
can't blame him when you a superstar that keep hearing your name in trade rumors as well. So I think the only move that makes sense is for them to kind of fix whatever fractured relationship they got because like I said, I don't think outside of Giannis, I don't think it's a trade out there that's gonna make
Yeah,
them better.
yeah. I think with them not being able to move him, it's almost like you dropped the ball because I mean he's so headstrong of an individual. It's gonna be hard to bring him in and say anything to him. As far as like, hey, it didn't work out. Let's fix it. I don't think it's no way to really bring him back into the locker room. So you
I
almost
mean,
may have to take a lesser of a deal because I just don't think it's no way because he's feeling like he should be 1A more than likely. I don't know how he's feeling, but it seems like he feel like he should be 1A. And then you had his name in trade talks multiple times. So what are you gonna tell him to come back and still be 1A, 1B? I feel like he want his own thing. So
I
I don't
mean,
know
but
how you fix that.
they won a championship together. He under contract. It's like what
Yeah,
other, you know what I'm saying? It's like feelings could be hurt. It's always situations where, they gotta be mended. I don't think you just give him up because it's like, we dangled you in the trade. We didn't get Giannis. We know you want to be one. All that's irrelevant. Like he can pay on a supermax deal.
right,
Like, you know
right.
what I'm saying? I don't think I mean, he's gonna show up and he gonna play. And I think, I mean,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I don't know what their relationship is, really, him and Tatum, but
right. It's like he talking. He not playing in China. He's not about to
yeah,
go and play in
I
China.
mean,
He
like I
not.
said,
He
I
not.
think
Let's just talk.
yeah,
You
that's what I'm
know.
saying. Ultimately, and he gonna show up and he gonna play. So it's like whatever hurt feelings, whatever the fallout is, I think he talented enough where you just got to deal with that because I wouldn't move him for lesser talent or you know what I'm saying because the
Right,
championship window only so long.
right,
So
right, right, right.
I mean, him and Tatum, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you move off him and bring in lesser talent when you have two legit MVP candidates on your, you know what I'm saying? You tried to
Yeah,
trade him for another, you know what I'm saying, for a two-time MVP. So it's like, it wasn't like, you know what I'm saying, you was trading him for just anybody. So, you
yeah.
know, yeah, he'll just have to get
You
over it. I mean, if it was me,
you think currently constructed, like you think they can win a championship? Do they can be
Boston,
back into yeah, Boston right now, currently how the way they currently constructed
I think with Jalen Brown on their roster, they closer than him
in a better chance. Yeah.
without him on their roster. Because I mean, realistically, who do you trade him for?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Giannis was I mean, that was the
Yeah,
perfect, but it's like they didn't really want to they probably didn't want to part with as many pieces as Miami parted with
yeah. I mean, they didn't
because
want to do. You know what I'm saying? And you can't blame them. Like, but they did have a first team All NBA MVP finalist, so they shouldn't have gave up as much as what it took. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Miami to give up. So it made sense. I mean, you also got to have. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a limit on what you're willing to give because it's like you don't want to gut your whole roster and be in the same position. And I think, like I said, my thought, I don't think Miami gonna be able to build a championship roster around Giannis, but I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? I don't get paid to do this for a living. So,
yeah,
but my thought is like, who's out there? What they gonna be able to do? Like, you literally then gutted this whole roster and the future to get Giannis. So now,
mhm,
where's your role players? Where's your bench? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I don't blame Boston for, you know, having
yeah,
a hard line on, hey, this is what we willing to give. And you know what I'm saying? Hey, if you're not willing to accept that, because I mean they offer what in week.
right. Yeah, I mean I think the situation can mend itself. I don't think that like, you know, like I said, I know we got no say so in none of this, but I don't think that streaming and being online and talking as much as he do helps anything, because
Well,
you talking for a living, you're gonna end up saying something that, end up coming back and biting you in the ass. And, that's kind of what it looked like, he said this season was y'all just won the championship 2 years ago, but this season was the best season of your life. And now he's saying, people doubting him, like nobody doubted you, like nobody said you can do nothing, nobody against him. It's almost like he's playing victim, but um, like you say, I mean, you're on the contract, you're on the super max, so not much they
yeah.
can do. So